Jack was just an ordinary man. He worked long hours in a noisy mechanic shop on Earth, fixing old machines no one cared about. The city was always loud, always gray, always rushing. That night, the streets were quiet. A cold wind blew through the narrow lanes as Jack walked home, hands in his pockets, tired from another long day. He passed an old alley he usually ignored. Broken lights flickered above. The smell of damp trash filled the air, and then he heard it. A whisper. So soft, he almost thought it was the wind. But then it came again. Please. I need you. Jack stopped. He looked around. No one. The street behind him was empty. He turned toward the alley. Darkness. Only a soft blue flicker from a broken streetlight touched the entrance. His heart beat faster. He knew it could be a trick. Maybe a thief. Maybe some scam. Still, something in that voice. It sounded real. Desperate. Carefully, Jack stepped inside. The alley was cold, wet, and silent. His boots splashed in puddles. The walls were cracked, covered in old posters and graffiti. At the very end, next to a pile of boxes, something moved. He stepped closer. And there, he saw her. A girl. Not human. She was curled on the ground, holding her side. Her skin was smooth and faintly glowing, a soft silver blue color. Her long hair sparkled under the faint light, and her eyes, large and bright, locked onto his the second he appeared. She whispered again, voice trembling. Please, don't leave me. Jack froze. He couldn't believe his eyes. Was this a trick? A costume? But no. Her breathing was shaky. Her hands trembled. She was bleeding. Without thinking, he knelt beside her. What happened to you? He asked, voice low. She blinked slowly. They're coming. I had to run. Who's coming? She tried to speak but coughed instead. Her hand reached out and grabbed his wrist. Her touch was warm even though she looked half frozen. I need you, she whispered. Only you. Before Jack could ask another question, everything around him changed. The air shimmered, a soft humming sound began to rise. What the? Jack started, but then, flash! Bright white light surrounded them. The ground vanished, Jack shouted, but there was no sound. It felt like falling through stars. Then suddenly, silence. He landed hard on a smooth floor. Jack gasped and looked around. He wasn't in the alley anymore. He was in a room, round walls glowing gently with colors that shifted like liquid. The ceiling above looked like a view of space. Stars, planets, moving slowly across the sky. Strange symbols floated in the air, and in the center of it all, the same alien girl, now standing. Her injury was gone. Jack stepped back, stunned. What is this? Where am I? She looked at him with soft eyes. You're safe. For now. Safe? From what? What did you do? Did you teleport me or something? She nodded. I didn't mean to scare you, but I had no choice. They would have killed me if I stayed. Jack stared at her. His heart raced. And you brought me here because... She walked closer. Because only a human can help my people. And because I saw your name. Jack frowned. What name? She lifted her hand and a light appeared in her palm. Floating above it was a symbol, and then his name. Jack Renner. I don't know why it's you, she said softly. But when the system searched for help, it showed only your name. Jack shook his head. This is crazy. You kidnapped me. She looked down, ashamed. Yes, I did. I'm sorry. But I didn't do it to hurt you. I did it to survive. Jack was still trying to breathe. Everything was too much. A strange ship. A glowing room. A beautiful alien girl, telling him he was chosen, and most of all, those first words, I need you. Jack didn't know why. But something deep inside told him this was just the beginning. Jack stood frozen in the glowing room. It was like standing inside a dream, or a trap. The walls pulsed with soft light, and strange humming sounds filled the air. Everything felt alive. The alien girl, Elira, stood across from him, calm, quiet, watching him like she was waiting for him to understand something. But Jack didn't. He shouted, "Take me back, right now." Elira didn't move. "I can't, not yet." Jack took a step forward. "You abducted me." Her eyes lowered. "I saved you from what was coming." Jack stared. What was coming? Elira pointed at the glowing window beside them. Jack walked closer and froze. Outside, there was no sky. No city. No earth. Only space. He saw stars, blue and white. A giant planet slowly spinning far below them. And beyond that, endless darkness. He backed away fast. "You've got to be kidding me. This isn't real." Elira turned. "This is my ship, it's real. We're already far from your planet." Jack grabbed his head. He couldn't breathe right. "What do you mean far? How long have we been gone?" 17 minutes, she said softly. "But in space, that's enough to go very far." Jack laughed, but it was hollow. "I'm losing my mind." Elira walked closer. "I didn't want to take you, but the system showed me only one name. Yours." "Again with this system," Jack said. "What system? Why me?" She walked to a floating screen. Strange. Symbols moved on it. Then it showed something Jack recognized. Earth, and on the screen, a red dot. His location. "It searched for DNA," Elira said. "Only certain humans match, only you matched, that's why I had no choice." Jack was quiet now. He didn't know whether to feel afraid, angry, or just tired. "I'm not special," he said. "You are to us," she said. "To my people." Jack sat down on the edge of a strange couch. It shifted to fit his body like memory foam. He looked at her. "And who exactly are you?" Elira smiled sadly. "I am Elira Venn, Princess of Serafal." He blinked. "Princess? You're a space princess?" She nodded, serious. "Our world is dying. We used to be powerful, but our technology is old. It responds only to human signals now. We tried to recreate the connection. It never worked." Jack shook his head. "So, you need me to fix a machine?" "No. We need you to activate the core. Without it, our planet's energy will vanish. Our people will fade." He rubbed his face. "I don't know anything about your core. I fix engines, not alien reactors. But your presence may be enough," Elira said gently. "You don't have to understand it. Just be there." "Be you?" Jack laughed again. "That's the craziest plan I've ever heard." She smiled. "Yet it's the only one we have." They were quiet for a moment. Then Jack said, "What if I say no?" Elira paused. Her face grew serious. "Then we die," she said. "All of us." Jack looked away. He wasn't a hero. He never wanted to be. He just wanted to go home, drink cold water, and sleep in his messy bed. But now, a whole planet was depending on him. He looked back at her. Elira didn't beg. She didn't cry. She just stood tall, strong, proud, but clearly scared deep down. "You risked everything," Jack said, "just to get me." She nodded. "I would do it again." Suddenly the room shook. Alarms echoed in the air. Lights blinked. "Red, what now?" Jack shouted. Elira's eyes widened. "Another ship. They found us." "Who?" "My enemies," she said. "They don't want humans near the core. They want to rule what's left, even if everything burns." Jack stood up fast. "Can this ship fight?" "No," Elira said, grabbing his hand. "But it can run." The floor glowed under them. Jack stumbled as the ship moved sharply. Elira turned to him. Her voice firm now. "Hold on tight, Jack. This is going to get worse before it gets better." As the stars outside shifted, Jack had only one thought. He wasn't just part of this now, he was in the middle of it. Jack stared out the window of the ship as stars flew by like streaks of light. His heart still raced from the escape. The alarms had stopped and the ship now floated in silence. But the fear inside him hadn't left. He turned to Elira, who sat quietly across from him. She looked calm. But Jack had started to notice something. Her hands trembled when she thought he wasn't watching. And sometimes, she stared into space like she was trying not to cry. There was something she wasn't telling him. And now, Jack was sure of it. "You said I'm important to your planet," Jack said, breaking the silence. "But what aren't you saying?" Elira blinked. "I already told you. You're the only human whose DNA can activate the core. Without it, Sci-Fi will die." Jack folded his arms. "Then why do you look scared?" Elira opened her mouth to answer, but stopped. That silence said more than any words. "Elira," Jack said, voice softer now. "I was taken from my home, thrown into space, dragged into a war I don't understand. I think I deserve the truth, now." She looked down at her hands, then she whispered, "The core doesn't just need human DNA. It needs a bond, a living connection between a human and one of us." Jack frowned. "A bond? Like friendship?" Elira slowly shook her head. "No, deeper, stronger. It has to be emotional, like a soul connection. The machine reads it. Without that, it won't open." Jack sat back, stunned. "You mean love?" She nodded. Jack stared at her. "You brought me here, hoping I'd fall in love with you." Elira didn't meet his eyes. "I didn't plan it. I just followed the system's signal. It brought me to you. When I saw you in that alley, I felt something. A pull. I hoped maybe you'd feel it too." He said nothing. His thoughts spun wildly. Love? How could she expect that? But another part of him remembered her whisper in the alley. "I need you." It didn't sound fake. It sounded broken. Real. And now, he finally understood why. She wasn't just saving her planet. She was also trying to save herself. "Elira," Jack said quietly. "You kidnapped me." She winced. "But," he added, "I don't think you're the villain." She looked up at him surprised. "I don't know what this core really is. I don't know if we'll survive this," he continued. "But I know one thing." "What?" Jack leaned forward. "I'll help you. I'll try." Elira's lips parted. A breath of relief escaped. Her glowing eyes shimmered. "But," Jack said, raising a finger, "I'm not promising love." She smiled faintly. "I understand." Jack stood and looked around. "So, where's this core thing anyway?" Elira tapped a glowing panel. A new screen appeared showing a red desert-like planet with rings of crystal dust around it. "That's Sci-Fi," she said. "My home." Jack narrowed his eyes. "It looks empty." "It is. What's left of it anyway? Our cities are hidden deep underground. And this core? Buried under the palace," she said. "Guarded, forgotten, until now." Suddenly, the screen blinked. A warning. Elira's face changed. "They found us again," she whispered. "Who?" Jack asked quickly. "The enemy tribe. The Carthan." Jack grabbed the edge of the control table. "Can we lose them again?" "No," she said, eyes hardening. "This time, we have to fight." Jack's stomach turned. "You said this ship can't fight." "It can't," she said. "But you can." Jack blinked. "Me? I don't even have a weapon." "You do now." She opened a hidden panel beside the wall. A strange metal glove with glowing lines floated inside. "What is that?" "A biolink gauntlet," Elira said. "It responds to your thoughts and protects the wearer. I made it for you." Jack hesitated, then slowly took it. It felt warm, like it knew him. He looked at her again. "You really planned everything, didn't you?" Elira smiled softly. Not everything. I didn't plan on trusting you this fast. Jack slid the gauntlet onto his hand. The lines lit up bright blue. He looked toward the window. The enemy ship was now visible, black, spiked, and approaching fast. Jack's breath slowed. I guess this is where I stop being a mechanic, he muttered. Elira stepped beside him. No, Jack. This is where you become something more. The enemy ship loomed closer, dark like a shadow, sharp like a blade. Its lights glowed red, and strange symbols pulsed along its side. It looked like a beast made of metal, hungry and hunting. Inside Elira's ship, Jack stood with the glowing gauntlet on his arm. His heart pounded. He was just a man from Earth. How did he end up here? Are we really going to fight them? Jack asked. Elira didn't look afraid. No. We're going to survive. The ship trembled as something struck its shield. Boom. Shields. Down to 60%, a voice said from nowhere. Jack spun around. Who was that? Elira tapped the air. A small round AI orb appeared and hovered beside her. This is Lun, she said. The ship's brain. Hello, Jack Renner, Lun said, calmly. Your pulse is rising. Should I prepare a cryopod? No, Jack shouted. Don't freeze me. Elira smiled. Even now she found a way to be calm. Jack stepped to the window. The enemy ship was charging a weapon. A red light swelled under its belly. Elira. They're going to fire. I know, she said. Then she tapped her wrist. Suddenly the ship dropped straight down. Jack screamed as gravity shifted. The walls tilted. The stars outside moved like falling snow. What was that? A dive, Elira said. We'll slip behind the moon. Another blast hit the side of their ship. Sparks flew. Alarms screamed. Jack barely held onto the wall. I thought you said this ship can't fight, he yelled. It can't, Elira shouted over the noise. But it can run, Loon's voice returned. Warning. Engines overheating. Hull damage moderate. Jack looked at Elira. What now? Elira stared at the screen. Her face was serious now. We have one option left. An old warp gate near the dark side of the moon. If we reach it in time, we'll jump to Serifal. And if we don't, we die. Jack didn't like those odds. But what choice did they have? He rushed to her side. Tell me what to do. She looked surprised. You're not panicking? I'm panicking on the inside, he said, but let's focus on not dying. She nodded and pointed to a glowing panel. Hold your gauntlet over that console. Jack did. The blue light from his glove linked with the ship. The walls lit up like veins. Suddenly, the ship moved faster. What just happened? He asked. You gave it a boost, Elira said. Human energy, real, living, makes it stronger. Jack blinked. You mean I'm fuel now? Let's say. Co-pilot, she said with a grin. The enemy ship followed, but the distance grew smaller. The warp gate shimmered ahead, like a giant ring floating in space, pulsing with ancient light. But it wasn't open yet. Lun, Elira called. Start the sequence. Gate will open in 60 seconds, Lun replied. Jack looked at the timer. That's too long. We'll never make it. Elira glanced at him. Yes, we will. But I need you to trust me. Jack held her gaze. I already do. She reached for his hand. Together their energy surged through the ship. The lights brightened. The engines roared louder. The ship flew like lightning. The enemy ship fired again. A blast shook the back. Fire burst from a panel. Luan gave another warning. Rear thrusters damaged. Elira gritted her teeth. Hold steady! Jack held her hand tighter. We're almost there. The gate started to open. The middle shimmered like water. 10 seconds, Lun said. Jack turned to Elira. If this works, and we make it, she looked at him. Yes? He hesitated. You better explain everything after this. She smiled. I promise. Another explosion rocked the ship. The enemy was too close now. Jack could see their strange faces through their own glass. The gate was fully open. Elira shouted, Now! The ship flew forward. One last shot fired from behind. It almost hit them, but they vanished into the gate. Silence, then light. The ship reappeared in a calm sky. Jack fell back into his seat, gasping. Did we make it? Elira stood slowly. Yes. He looked out the window. Below them was a red, glowing planet. Cracked, broken, but somehow still alive. Welcome to Sci-Fi, she said softly. Jack nodded, breathing heavy. We escaped, but something tells me this is just the beginning. Elira looked down, and for a brief moment, she looked afraid again. The sky above Sci-Fi was not blue. It was a deep gray with streaks of red clouds. No sun warmed the land, only a strange, dull glow from the cracked sky itself. The planet felt tired, like it had been holding on for too long. Jack stood by the ship's window, silent. This place, he whispered. It looks like it's dying. Beside him, Elira nodded. It is? The ship landed slowly on a wide cliff that overlooked a broken city far below. Towers had collapsed. Roads were covered in red dust. Strange trees stood without leaves, twisting in silence. Jack stepped down, onto the planet's surface for the first time. The ground crunched under his boots. Cold wind brushed his skin, but what made him stop was the silence. No birds, no machines, no people. Where is everyone? He asked. Elira pointed toward a dark mountain. They live underground now, to stay safe, to stay warm. Jack followed her through narrow stone paths and hidden doors. Finally, they entered a deep tunnel, lit by glowing crystals in the walls. It led to a large underground hall, dim but full of life. Dozens of alien beings looked up as they entered. All eyes were on Jack. Whispers filled the air. Is that the human? He's smaller than I imagined. Do you think he can really activate the core? Jack stood still. He felt like he didn't belong here. Elira raised her hand. He is the one the system chose. He came with me. He risked his life to be here. But one voice cut through the crowd. A tall, older alien man stepped forward. His robe was marked with glowing symbols. His eyes were sharp. Elira, he said coldly. You brought him here. But can he do what we need? Jack looked at him. Who are you? I am Varn, High Elder of Sci-Fi, the man said. And I do not trust you. Jack raised an eyebrow. Great. Nice to meet you too. Varn stepped closer. We had many chances before this. We tried clones. We tried machines. We even tried lies. Nothing worked. Elira stepped between them. He's not a machine. He's real. He's different. But is he strong enough? Varn snapped. Jack looked around, faces full of fear, of doubt, of tired hope. He clenched his fists. I didn't ask to be here. I didn't beg to be your last hope. But I'm here now. So if there's something to fix, show me where it is. There was silence. Then slowly Varn nodded. Very well. Take him to the core chamber. They led Jack and Elira through a long hallway. It ended at a sealed door, taller than anything Jack had ever seen. Glowing locks covered its surface. It pulsed like a heartbeat. This is it, Elira whispered. Jack stepped closer. So, what do I do? Place your hand on the panel, she said. And mean it. Jack looked confused. Mean what? Mean that you care, she said softly. About us. About me. He turned to her. There was something in her eyes. Fear. Yes, but also something deeper. Trust. He slowly raised his hand and touched the glowing panel. The lights around the chamber brightened. Then, nothing. The door didn't open. A soft voice echoed from the wall. Emotional bond. Incomplete. Jack stepped back. What does that mean? Elira looked away. Varn's voice boomed. He doesn't care for us. He cannot save us. Jack was confused. Angry. I do care. I came all this way. Elira whispered. Then say it. Jack looked at her. Say what? She stepped close to him. "Say it to me." He hesitated. Then slowly he said, "I care about you, Elira. I don't fully understand why. Maybe it's because you risked everything for your people. Maybe it's because you trusted me even when I didn't trust you. Or maybe it's because I've never met anyone like you." The door made a sound. Click. One by one, the glowing locks began to open. The crowd gasped. Jack turned around. The giant door slowly opened, revealing a vast room of light filled with energy. Elira smiled through tears. "You did it." Jack let out a breath, but before he could step forward, boom! The ground shook. Screams echoed through the halls. An alarm sounded. Varn shouted, "They've followed us. The Carthen are here." Elira grabbed Jack's hand. "The core is open, but now we must protect it." Jack's eyes narrowed. "Then let's finish what we started." The ancient door to the core stood wide open. Light poured from the chamber like liquid gold. Inside, powerful energy flowed through crystal veins and strange machines that pulsed like a living heart. But outside the chamber, chaos had begun. The ground trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling. Distant booms echoed through the tunnels like thunder. The air smelled of smoke. "They've breached the outer gate," a soldier shouted, running past. Jack stood beside Elira, the gauntlet on his arm still glowing faint blue. "They're here already?" Elira's voice was tight. "Yes, the Carthen want the core for themselves. If they take control, they'll drain the last energy from Seraphol to power their weapons and leave the rest of us to die." Varn, the High Elder, ran forward with 2 guards. "Seal the core chamber. The human must stay inside. He is the key." Jack's eyes narrowed. "Seal it? What about Elira?" Varn pointed at her. "She'll stay and fight. She is royal blood. Her duty is to defend." "No," Jack snapped. "I'm not going in there without her." Elira turned to Jack with wide eyes. "Jack," Varn barked, "this isn't your choice, human." And that's when Jack saw it, just for a second. Varn's eyes, cold, calculating, too calm. Jack stepped back. "Wait, how did the Carthen find us so fast?" Elira's smile vanished. She turned slowly to Varn. "You told them," she whispered. "Didn't you?" Gasps filled the chamber. Varn's face remained calm. "I did what was necessary. You brought an outsider. You risked everything on a stranger. We needed power. The Carthen promised to share it, with the ruling council only. You betrayed us," Elira breathed. "I saved our class," Varn snapped. "The poor, the weak. Let them fade. But those who matter will rise again." Jack stepped between Elira and the Elder. "You don't care about saving Seraphol. You just want to rule its ashes." Varn raised his hand. Guards pointed weapons at Jack. But before they could fire, crack, the wall behind them exploded. Carthen warriors stormed in, tall, armored, ruthless. Their leader wore black plates and a helmet shaped like a snarling beast. "Elira Ven," he said. "Surrender your core." She raised her chin. "You'll have to kill me first." Jack raised his arm. The gauntlet glowed. The lead Carthen laughed. "You think a mechanic from Earth can stop us?" Jack didn't answer. He stepped forward and the gauntlet responded. Blue energy crackled around him. A shield of light formed at his side. The floor beneath him lit up. "Maybe not," Jack said, "but I can sure try." Elira leapt beside him. She summoned a blade of light from her wristband. Together, they charged. The core chamber became a storm of sound and light. Blasts, sparks, shields, and cries. The people of Seraphol watched in awe as the human and their princess fought side by side. Varn tried to escape, until a falling pillar trapped him under rubble. Jack didn't notice. His eyes were only on the core and the girl beside him. But the Carthen were strong, too strong. Soon Elira was on the ground, her weapon broken. Jack stood in front of her, shaking, the gauntlet dimming from overuse. The Carthen leader stepped forward. "Any last words, Earthboy?" Jack looked back at Elira, she mouthed one word, together. Jack nodded. He turned back and placed his hand on the glowing heart of the core. A burst of energy shot out. The Carthan leader flew back, screaming. The core awakened. The walls shook, not from damage, but from power. Crystals lit up across the, chamber. And then Seraphol began to breathe again. The floor pulsed. The air warmed. The ancient systems rebooted. Light spread across the ground, not just in the core, but through the tunnels, the caverns, the cities. Elira opened her eyes. She felt it, her world wasn't dying anymore, it was waking up. Jack dropped to his knees, exhausted but smiling. "You did it," Elira said, crawling to his side. "No," he whispered. "We did it." The Carthan fled. The battle was over. But the real change had just begun. The sunless sky of Seraphol began to change. Deep underground, the ancient core pulsed with new life. Light flowed like rivers through old machines. Walls once cold and dim now glowed with warmth. People stepped out of hiding. Children pointed at the glowing ceilings. Elders wept in silence. The planet was alive again. And at the center of it, all, Jack lay on the core's platform, barely conscious. Elira knelt beside him, brushing dust from his face. His eyes fluttered open. "Did it work?" Elira nodded, her voice soft and shaking. "Yes, you saved us." Jack tried to sit up, but winced. The gauntlet on his arm sparked once, then faded to black. Its work was done. "How bad do I look?" he asked, half smiling. Elira laughed through her tears. "Like a hero who fought the entire galaxy with one hand." Jack looked at her. "I wasn't supposed to be a hero." "No," she said. "You were supposed to walk home that night, never hear my voice, never see this world." "But I did." "Yes." They sat in silence. Around them, the people of Seraphol gathered. For the first time in years, hope danced in their eyes. The High Elder Varn, badly injured but alive, was taken away in chains by the guards he once commanded. His betrayal had nearly ended them all. Now a new future waited. But Jack looked uncertain. "I don't know what happens now," he said quietly. Elira looked down. "You can stay here if you want. We'll give you a home. You'll be honored, forever." He smiled faintly. "And if I don't? Then we'll take you back to Earth, and I'll disappear from your life like a dream." Jack leaned back, eyes on the glowing ceiling. "This place still feels like a dream." Elira stood slowly. "There's something I want to show you. Before you decide." They walked through a tunnel that led to the surface. The stars above Seraphol were brighter now. The red clouds were slowly fading. Elira led him to a garden, once dead, now blooming with strange glowing flowers. Purple vines climbed across black stones. In the middle stood a tall tree with silver leaves. "This was the Tree of Kings," she said. "It hadn't bloomed since I was a child." Jack looked around. "You think the core did this?" "No," she said softly. "You did." She turned to face him. "I don't know what your life was like before I took you." She whispered. "I only know that from the moment I saw you. I felt something I didn't understand. A connection." Jack said nothing. Elira stepped closer, her voice barely more than a breath. "I didn't take you just to save my people. I took you because when I looked at you, I hoped." Jack's heart beat faster. She met his eyes. And then, just like that night in the alley, she whispered, "I need you." But this time, it wasn't a cry for help. It was a confession. Jack swallowed. He took a step forward. "You said those words when we first met," he said. "I didn't believe you then. I thought it was a trick." "And now?" she asked, voice trembling. Jack smiled. He reached out and gently took her hand. "Now I know you meant every word." She closed her eyes. Her whole body relaxed like she had waited so long to hear that. They stood together under the silver leaves, the stars reflecting in their eyes, and somewhere deep in the core, the lights pulsed again, slow, calm, alive. 1 week later, a small ship stood ready. Elira's people had repaired it for Jack, a farewell gift, should he choose to leave. He stood at the ramp staring at the sky. The AI Lone hovered nearby. "Are your belongings prepared?" Lone asked. Jack didn't answer. He turned around. Elira stood behind him, quiet, waiting. He walked back to her. "I was halfway into that ship," he said, "and then I realized something." "What?" "I didn't want to leave." Elira's eyes widened. Jack smiled. "This place, these people, you. Maybe I was taken from Earth, but I didn't lose anything. I found something." Elira's voice broke. "So, you'll stay?" He nodded. "And this time," he added, "I say it first." He leaned in, pressing his forehead gently to hers. "I need you too."